Hi everybody. In this video, we will demonstrate how to test the Model Properties API by PowerShell call. In this sample, we provided some test models, test scripts, and the source code, and additional documentations. Before you play this demo, we recommend you get started with the Model Properties API by the official documentations on Forge website. And then please install PowerShell core on your machine. Follow this link. It provides a couple of downloads for different operation systems. In this video, I will demonstrate on my MacBook. After you install PowerShell, you can verify its version by the command. Okay. So now, next step is to create Forge account. I believe you have been familiar with creating Forge app, so you will get current ID, current secret. And also please specify callback URL because Model Properties API support 3-leg token only. And then you need to integrate your Forge app with the ACC or BIM 360 account. Follow this step, go to ACC or BIM 360 account admin, go to settings, and switch to custom integrations, add custom integration, keep the default access. Next, if you are account admin, and you can input the current ID directly. You can input the current ID directly and give a name. Because I have added this current ID already, so it will give the warning. Now, moving ahead. So we need to download the samples to local machine. Before that, ensure your local Git supports downloading large file. Follow this link to install the corresponding package. After that, you can verify if it has been installed correctly. Now we can start to download the sample code. So we can create a clean test folder. And then switch to the folder. Start to clone this sample to local. It will take a moment to finish the downloading. Okay, after downloading, you can find a script and also the test models. The test model provided two sets of models. One is to test indexing and properties searching. So there are 3 different file formats. Another one is to test diff. So it provides version 1 models, and one model, mechanical.rvt, it has version 2. Okay, so we will compare the two versions models. Now we upload sample models to the test project files folders in BIM 360 or ACC. So go to your project and go to files and add test folders. So one, we just test index. Another one, we will test diff. So in index folder, please upload the models in mixed folder. Upload all of them. And in diff folder, firstly upload the model of version 1 mechanical RVT only to the folder. And after version 1 is completely processed, we can upload second version model. So it will take some time to process, which means it will translate the model to the SVF2 dataset. Model properties API will be built, will index based on SVF2 dataset. So the folder for index is ready, and also the folder, the model, first version for diff is ready, so we upload the second version of this model. Now we have two versions for the model. Okay, so we are ready with the models. To make it simpler, so this demonstration will copy paste the project ID and also folder URL directly from the browser. So next step, we need to prepare the 3-leg token. You can use any other script to generate 3-leg token. In this video, I will use Postman. So please ensure the scope is data read. So we generate the token, and the user will log in, and then it will generate the token. To work with model properties API index, we need to get some version URLs. In the demo walkthrough script, we provided one script is to get the possible URLs in one folder. So to work with this script, you need to specify 3 parameters. First is project ID for data management. That means with b dot. Another one is folder URL, and then the 4G token. So follow this demonstration. First, we specify 3-leg token in PowerShell. So we copy paste from Postman. Next one is project ID. We copy paste from browser. To work with get a folder content, we are using data management API for Forge. So it will need to specify b dot. And next one is folder URL. So similarly, we copy from the browser. Now we are ready to run the first script to get version URL in one folder. So we only copy we need to switch to the folder of our test project. So let me check here. So we can clear script. Okay, we're ready in this folder, and then the relative path manage the script. So we copy paste the script from the README, and then we can run it. So the script will get folder contents and generate a file inside script out. We can open it with any text view. Here we use Sublime text. So we will see the available version URL, another one, because we uploaded 3 files. Now we can start to play the first script for model properties. Create index. To use this script, we need to have a couple of parameters. First one is also project ID, but this time we do not need to specify b dot. So go to PowerShell, copy the ID, done. Next, we need to have the payload. The payload will specify which URLs you want to make the index. So here, it gives you an example. We only need to add it with our own version URL. So here, go to the folder content we generated just now. Copy first one, second one, the third one. Okay, and then copy the final JSON to PowerShell. Then we are ready to run the script. Similarly, we copy and it will call model properties API to build the index for these 3 models version. It will take some moment to finish the index building, and then it will start to download the manifest, the fields, the properties for each of the model version. So totally it will generate 3 set of data. After it's done, we can go to the folder. You can see we have a couple of new files. So as mentioned, 3 files. 3 are model versions, so we have 3 groups of the data. This is the first one, another one, another one. And the file name will be will use the index ID each for each. So for example, we can inspect one of them. So we open this group of data to Sublime. And first one we would like to check is the manifest. The index response. So it will indicate index ID, and the type is indexed, and the state is finished, and the version URL we specified, and also states will indicate how many objects have been indexed. Another one is manifest. Manifest means the information of the model. It will tell you the seed file, the URL, lineage URL, version URL, and the corresponding database. This is SVF2 database. And the available views extracted. For example, 3D view is very well known, the default view, and another one is faces view, master view. Okay. Next, we can check the fields JSON. In the fields data, you can see its key, type, name, and the unit. It corresponds to the database of the extraction. So you will see the unique key and the category and the type. And the last one is the properties. Properties also in line of JSON. So I need to make it clear. So you will see the object information one by one. It will tell you the SVF2 ID. LMV ID means SVF1 ID, and also external ID, and the properties list, and if this item belongs to any views. So we can check one. For example, this one, it has also the basic IDs, and also properties list is similar to what we can see in the Fuji viewer or model derivatives. So we will see some key and value, key and value. So what is this? We can check in the fields JSON. So it will tell you this key means the name of the object. How about another one? This one. So it will tell you it means RFN, Revit family, and another one is here. It means category. Yeah, similarly, you can check the corresponding properties name by the fields data. And you will see the properties hash. So if the next version some properties are changed for this object, the properties hash will also change. And you will also see geometry hash. So which means if any geometry is changed in the next version, the hash will be also changed. It also tells you the bounding box, the max point, minimum point of this object. and which views this object is available. Okay, this is about create the index. Now we can move to the next test. It is create a query based on the index. You may be remembered in the previous test we got the properties list. Some of the objects has no view and some objects has view. So we can make a query to say, okay, please return the objects only that has views. So here we can specify the arguments index ID. Here we can get index ID, go to PowerShell, next argument is the query payload, so we can copy paste directly. Now we can run the script. Oh, I made a typo. Index ID. Okay. So it will call the endpoint of model properties to query the index data and get out the data which match the query condition. So go to the folder. You will see two more files are output. Open it. The first one is manifest. So we will see the query ID, index ID, state, and also objects number. So you'll see in the previous test we have 39,000 objects, and now we have only 4,000 objects. And this is the properties of the objects that match the conditions which has views objects one by one, and also their properties and also the geometry hash, property hash, bounding box information. Okay, so we now move to the next script. Next one, we will create a diff. That means we will compare the model versions. To make it clear, we can clean, we can delete the previous output. And now we need to switch to the folder of diff and copy paste the folder U1 here and specify in the PowerShell console. And probably our token has been expired, so we copy the new one. Okay, now we go to the help document. So the arguments will be project ID and the specification JSON. This is JSON payload. We need to input the URL of our models. So again, we run the first script to get the folder contents. Now be careful. To get the folder contents, we need to use the data management project ID that with B dot. So go to folder, we will see the JSON. Okay, so we see the JSON file, and we can see the file, the version number, the ID, and it is currently version 2. So it has also version 1. So the payload to create a div index will be like this way. So we create one. Because we only need to check one model comparison, so we can remove another other group of the pairs of the previous version and the current version, and go to the folder content, copy paste the URL, and the current version is version 2, previous version is version 1. Okay, after it's ready, go back to PowerShell, copy paste here. So we're ready to run this script. So copy paste, create a div index dot ps1, and so it will create the div index by model properties API. After it is done, it will download the manifest, the fields, and also properties to the local folder. Okay, after it's done, we go to the folder. So we'll see there are a couple of files. We open it in the Sublime text, and here we see the response of the div index. This is the div ID, and this is states that will be a summary of the comparison. How many objects are added, how many removed, how many modified. So similarly, we will see the manifest. So we will see the previous version information. So this is the previous one, this is version 1, and its database and its views. And current version, it will be under seed files. And you will see this is version 2, and also corresponding database, and also the views. And fields data is similar to the previous test. So we will have the key and the name and other information. Now this is the div index properties result. We can see line by line. So you can see this is one object that is removed. So it only has the information of a previous version in the previous model. SVEV2 ID, external ID, and the previous properties. and some objects is added. So we can see the added object. Here, this is the current properties because it is added. So this is the properties list. And some of object will be changed. So we can see this changed object. In the changed object, it will provide the properties, current properties list, and the current properties hash, current geometry hash, and current boundary box information. Also, previous version properties, which property is changed than previous version. For example, for this one, its previous value is 10.66, and if we check current version, it is 8.75. What's the value means? We can go to field, search, and it will indicate the elevation from level, and the unit is feet. So now we can continue to check previous bounding box and the previous views. So in a word, these properties will tell which objects are changed, which are removed, which are added, and also the difference of the properties as well as the geometries. Now we move to the final test script. We can build some query to check the diff index. What we need to have is index ID. It will be diff ID. So we can copy paste from the response. This is a diff ID. Go to PowerShell. And then we need to payload to build the query, so we can copy paste. So this query will say, okay, please tell me those objects, this object's property, this specific property is not equal. So this property is what? If you remember, it is this one, elevation from level. So we can copy paste the payload to PowerShell, and then we run this script. So it will query the diff index with the condition. After this is done, we can go to folder. So you will see 2 more files are downloaded. Go to Sublime text. And now we will see one response. They will indicate the diff ID and the query ID. And now the states will indicate no added elements, no removed element, only modified element. And the modified element, if you compare with this one, our previous response, here, you see, this is the totally difference. So it will have 200 modified elements, but by query with condition, it only have 100 modified objects. So similarly, we can check result property, and here you will see all objects are changed objects, and all the change happened in the property, the specific property elevation from the base level. Okay, this is the available test script in this sample. If you want to play more query conditions, you can go to query example. Here, the more query demos available for you to test. So you can just build the JSON payload with the corresponding query, and then you will get the corresponding result. Of course, you need to replace with your own version URL and the field you want to check, and the value you want to compare, and the model properties API will return the result for you. Okay, that's all for this video. Thank you.